Okay, we're going to continue our look at the rapture in the Old Testament. And I read yesterday from Isaiah chapter 57. I want to go back and just make a few more comments about this verse. And I'm going to read from the English translation here. And then we're going to talk about what it says in some of these certain words in here in Hebrew, what they say. In English, it says, "The righteous perish, and no man lays it to heart, and merciful men are taken away, none considering that the righteous are taken away from the evil to come." Now, I shared with you that if you look this up in the Hebrew and look at the words and how they're translated, Hebrew words are like a lot of English words that have more than, say, one particular meaning. And when the Old Testament was translated from Hebrew into English, these Hebrew words, like I said, have more than one particular meaning, and it was left to the discretion of the person doing the translation to determine which English word to use to convey what was being said. And as I mentioned to you yesterday, that there are a lot of words that were incorrectly translated from the translators, and that's why it's important to understand how it is important to go back to the original words themselves and do the study yourself to see if how they translated that word is accurate. You know, the scriptures are without error, the original scriptures, but you have to understand and realize that the Bible that you're reading from is a translation. Some are good and some are not. Some meaning that some have done a good job in translating certain words, and some of them have not done a very good job. And so it's caused a lot of confusion when people are trying to understand the scriptures if a particular verse has been mistranslated. This one in particular, as I shared with you yesterday, doesn't make sense, excuse me, if you read it from the English to what's being said. Again, it says, "The righteous perish," excuse me, "and no man lays it to heart." In other words, they don't understand. They don't lay it to heart. Actually, the more Hebrew would be, they don't perceive, or they don't understand. They don't understand why the righteous perish. Well, perish, that like I said yesterday, it doesn't make sense for it to be translated. That Hebrew word there, the Hebrew word is abad, and its Hebrew number 6 is the Hebrew Strong's Concordance Hebrew number that identifies that particular word. And as I shared with you, it actually has more meaning than just perish. It has the meaning of vanish. Well, if you read it like that, as vanish, then it makes more sense, because it doesn't make sense to say the righteous perish and no man understands. You know, the righteous vanish, and that's one of the meanings of this particular Hebrew word abad, is vanish. And no man lays it to his heart. Another, no man understands. They don't perceive. You know, after the rapture takes place, and again, this is a reference, I believe, to the rapture, because that's exactly what's going to happen. The righteous are going to vanish. You're going to be here one moment, and you're gone the next. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 51 says, "In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, we shall all be changed." And what is that describing? That's describing that you're going to vanish. You're going to be here one minute, and then the next second you're going to be gone. And so this here is saying the righteous vanish, and no man lays it to heart. In other words, they don't understand, and exactly, you know, that's exactly what's going to happen to the unbelievers. They will have no clue of what's happened. They saw you standing there, and then all of a sudden you're gone. I mean, can you imagine the panic that's going to go about on the earth as people just arbitrarily vanish off the earth? Well, that's exactly what's going to happen. And it says But these merciful men, now I told you yesterday that the merciful men, that Hebrew word merciful is hasid. It's Hebrew number 2617, and it actually, the meaning of it is, like it said, it's merciful. It's to have pity or to have compassion. And, I believe that this particular, why it's worded this way is, the Messiah, Yahushua, said, "Be ye merciful as your Father also is merciful." And I think this is a direct reference to believers here when it says merciful men are taken away. We're merciful men or women, that we're taken away. And it says from the evil to come. Now, the word evil is the Hebrew word ra, and it actually is the Hebrew number 7489. It means not only evil, but it means distress, trouble. Isn't it? We're talking about Jacob. We've been talking about Jacob's trouble. Well, this is a time of great trouble. Evil, misery. That's a real good description of this time frame. People are going to be in misery because of the 21 judgments that are coming on the earth. But it says here that the righteous or the merciful men are taken away. Taken away. We're going to be taken up. Taken away is the Hebrew word asaph. Asaph. And it's Hebrew number 622. It means to gather, to receive, to remove. That's a good description of the rapture, because that's exactly what's going to happen. The righteous are going to be removed from the earth, and we're going to be taken to be with the Mashiach, the Messiah, to be in the Father's house, just like he promised in John chapter 14, verses 1, 2, and 3. He said, "I go and to prepare a place for you." And so where was he going? He was going to the Father's house. And he said, "I'm going to the Father's house, and I'm going to prepare a place for you, that you may be with me where I am." And that he was going to come again. He said, "I'll come again and receive you or gather you together unto me." And that's what's going to happen at the rapture. So I wanted to point out that, again, for many years I was always taught that you never saw the rapture was never mentioned in the Old Testament. It's just mentioned in the New Testament. But I beg to differ, because I believe this verse points it out. There's another one that we're going to get to in Isaiah chapter 26 that also, I believe, is a description of the pre-trib. And I say pre-trib because this is going to happen before the trouble, before the evil to come, as it states here in Isaiah 57. I hope this has been a blessing to you. Please continue to share this video with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so and encourage others to. And we'll pick this up on our next teaching session. Thank you.